One other form of population control instituted by British in India was through the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. The act led to more than 200 traditional communities around India being notified as criminal groups without requiring any evidence of wrongdoing or criminal background. Hindu Sadhus were one of these groups. Identified as being more than 5 million in number, Hindu Sadhus became the target of atrocity literature and hate speech propaganda before 1900. The colonialists recognized Naga Babas had renounced all worldly possessions, and devotees were more than happy to contribute to supporting sadhus through offering alms and oblations. This was an opportunity for economic exploitation that initial British estimates pinned at a value of 20 crore rupees, or 2.6 million US dollars today. The occupiers began generating enormous amounts of atrocity literature to support the hate speech attacks against India's traditional communities. The ancient Vedic traditions of Bharat were painted as backwards and antisocial in books, posters, magazines, and newspapers to impose the perception of Hindu sadhus as imposters and beggars. It's an imposition that has proven brutally successful in destroying the lives of Hindu sadhus and more than 110 million so-called DNTs, or de-notified tribes, in India today. Dr. Dan Siegel of the MindSight Institute describes how modern sciences have slowly begun to document mirror neurons and what ancient rishis and masters of the Hindu Enlightenment ecosystems lived as Enlightenment experience. This includes the science of living compassion, the power of listening, and Shaktipada, the initiation transmission of Enlightenment physiology that happens through sitting in Upanishad with an enlightened avatar.
When you know the intention behind an action, a different system in your brain is activated. We now know that that system involves the mirror neurons and other areas of the brain, so that what you do is you follow a sequence of action, and when you can predict that sequence, you can determine what the implication of that sequence is. So when I have a bottle in my hand, you know I will continue to drink like this, not toss it at you, for example. That ability to understand the sensory implications, that is what you're going to see, of the motor actions that you're perceiving, allows you to create a map in the mind, if you will, that's correlated with neural firing patterns in this mirror neurons superior temporal area complex that creates a neural representation, a neural map of my intention in your head. In other words, beyond just seeing behavior, we see the intention beneath the behavior from the very beginning.
When a disciple sits with an enlightened guru, the enlightenment experience is transmitted in silence. This is Dakshinamurti, the Adi Guru who speaks in silence. Deep listening and compassion changes the functioning of our brains. This is literally the enlightened physiology, the science of changing the mind and body, awakening the DNA to express powers beyond what our two eyes can perceive. Whether you call it Gotra, Ayurveda, Yoga, Siddha, or Vedanta, these are all part of the corpus of enlightenment knowledge from the Vedic Shastras. What part of us is it that exists beyond the body, and how to live beyond the destructive patterns and greed of common human trappings?